listening to Talking Terror, and as always, I'm your host, Jacob Harper.
And I'm your host, Arianee.
And today we have our end of the month breakdown for all the greatest and some worst, I don't know, horror news in July. It's been a long month.
Really has been.
It's been a long month. Lots of news. I spent most of today kind of catching up on some stuff I missed. There has been a lot of horror news this month. Like we've been getting fed. Like for better or worse, horror fans have been getting fed, especially after Comic Con this past weekend. We had a big bunch of news coming through this weekend from Comic Con, and I've set up a little agenda of what we're going to go through. We have a few topics, and I have a few notes on each topic. So guess we'll just dive right into it. This was posted a few days ago, and I was concerned. I was admittedly concerned we weren't going to see the series this year because we hadn't really heard too much on it for a while. But the It series, the Welcome to Derry prequel series for HBO, we finally got like a feature length trailer for it. Like it's a solid 2 minute trailer. It actually shows a lot of what's going on in the series, and I'm into it.
Same. I thought it looked amazing.
It looks really good. It looks very much like I love the 1960s, 1950s kind of era that they're in for at least the first season. And it's very reminiscent of the Tim Curry 1990 miniseries, but with like the cinematic flair of the newer films, which I love. I don't know. I mean, I hope they touch on more accuracies from the book because I've talked plenty on this podcast about how much I love that novel. So I'm excited to see it play out.
Me too.
What was your favorite part from the trailer?
From the trailer, I would say I really liked the vibes and like this, the cinematography was so pretty. Like I liked it.
It looked good. It looked really good. And dude, Bill Skarsgård is back as Pennywise.
I can't wait. It's exciting.
That's what was gonna make or break this series, by the way. If Bill Skarsgård didn't come back, this we would be in a much worse situation, I think. But no, I'm excited for it. And also, there was one frame in the trailer where it looked like there was some guy with like a gas mask or like a miner suit. It looked really like My Bloody Valentine, like Harry Warren type vibes. And I was like, I gotta show this to Ariane. I was like, this is cool. And I hope since the new, at least season one, is set in 1962, I think. With that said, I really hope that we get some sort of like 1950s movie monster that it takes the form of, like in the novel, because that's the thing we haven't seen adapted yet, where it takes the form of like Frankenstein or something and starts killing people, which I've always thought was a cool scene from the book. So hopefully we see that. Um, but yeah, I think it looks good. I think it looks really good. And again, I was worried we weren't going to see it this year because it kind of went radio silence on us on like where they were on production, post production. But I'm excited. Okay, next thing on the agenda. I'm gonna try to keep this episode to like an hour or so. Don't wanna don't wanna go too far over, but also if we end up yapping, that's all the more fun. So, next one on my agenda here is we got some new images for Del Toro's Frankenstein adaptation, which I know I've said Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is my most anticipated movie of the year, and it is. Frankenstein is second. Del Toro's Frankenstein is second, and these new images, oh my god. Have you seen them?
Yeah, I have. They look amazing.
It looks so good, dude. Oh my god, they look so good. It's like Robert Eggers' Nosferatu, but it's like brightened up and kind of like springtime ish almost. Like very vibrant. I like it. I like the gothic tones clashing with the very vibrant, colorful backdrops. And some of the costuming is like super cool as well. Mia Goth is starring in it as well. Love Mia Goth.
Me too.
Oscar Isaac as Dr. Frankenstein. Jacob Elordi as the monster, which he looks cool. We finally got our first like close up look at him as the monster, and He looks really cool. I was curious on how book accurate they were going to go. It's been a long time since I've read Frankenstein, but I remember in the the novel he has like very like gross like yellowish skin where you could like see the veins underneath the skin, and I've always thought that was a neat description. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to see it, like him in all his glory. We see a little bit in the new picture. I'll probably put one up somewhere on the video version of this podcast, but he looks cool. Yeah, well, I'm excited for it. I'm hoping, I'm really hoping we get a theatrical release for it.
Oh yeah, that'd be
I
awesome.
need it to happen. I know Netflix isn't big on theatrical releases, but guys, come on. It's Del Toro adapting Frankenstein, dude. Oh my God. Please. Please. I wrote an article a few months back where there was like a possibility of Frankenstein getting an IMAX release because, IMAX at I think it was at CinemaCon or it was at some event. They said they were having meetings with all these different studios, all these different companies, and one of them was Netflix. And someone said, "Oh, are you going to be doing like Netflix original movies in IMAX?" And they're like, "Yeah, we're talking about it. We're talking about Frankenstein. We're talking about other movies." And they just like casually dropped Frankenstein, and I was like, "Yes, like please make that happen, IMAX, please." If it's one night only in freaking Austin, I'll drive to Austin and go watch it. But I need that to happen. Preferably not just one night. Preferably like a longer run in theaters. But I understand beggars can't be choosers. But please. What all did you think about the new photos? Are you excited for this new adaptation? Because I'm
Like, yes, I
obviously
love Frankenstein. It's one of my
I,
favorite books too.
I hate to reread the book. Yeah, it looks cool. And like Del Toro says he's been trying to make this movie for years. He's been wanting to make this movie for like 25, 30 years now. So I'm glad he's getting to do it. And it looks cool. I know one other great Del Toro movie, The Shape of Water. I know that was originally intended to be a remake of Creature from the Black Lagoon, which makes me love that movie even more. So I trust Del Toro with monsters. I always trust him with that. I'm very excited for his take on this. Even though he had said it's not a horror movie, which I get. Like it's not a horror movie, but come on, it's a horror movie. It's Frankenstein. It's gothic and dreary, and well, that's a horror movie. And speaking of horror movies and theatrical releases, Megan 2.0. Oh man, this feels sad to report. I feel sad to report this. Megan 2.0 it's being pulled out of theaters. It's on stream. It's on video on demand right now for rent. It's coming to Blu-ray in September, but it's getting pulled on its like fourth week in theaters. Man, it's not a good situation. Have you looked at the numbers that Megan 2.0 did?
No, I did not.
It's so it's just it's rough, because it made $10 million on its opening weekend, on a $25 million budget. And for reference, the original Megan on its opening weekend made 30 million on opening weekend. And now, as it's kind of heading out of theaters, it's it's looking like it's going to end at around the $37 million mark, which like to only make $7 million more than your previous opening weekend in your entire theatrical run. I don't know. Yeah, it's not great. It sucks because I wanted Megan 2.0 to like dominate. I did. I saw it opening weekend and I liked it. I liked it enough. I think the original's better, but new one wasn't terrible. I think it was just like there's a lot of people throwing out different explanations as to why this happened. Some say it was the massive shift in genre. Some say it was the crowded summer blockbuster release. I think it's kind of a little bit of everything. I don't know. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I think it's weird that they just shifted the genres like that. Like maybe they really should have stuck with horror, honestly.
Well, yeah, because like the premise of it being like an action comedy, Terminator 2, but funny type of thing, like that idea I feel like could work,
Yeah.
but like I feel like that works as like maybe a fifth movie because like you think like back in the day, right? They waited a while to get kind of silly.
Yeah, that's true.
Like it wasn't until Friday the 13th 10 that they put Jason in space. Like you had to kind of really exhaust all your other options before going really crazy with it. And same with Chucky. If we're comparing killer dolls, like Child's Play 1 through 3 were meant to be like flat out straight horror films. Then Bride of Chucky was a little bit more dark horror comedy, and then the fifth one, Seed of Chucky, was full on dark comedy. Um, so I do think the genre shift had something to do with it. I was here for it. I like the idea of a genre shift, but I do feel like they kind of jumped it a bit early. I think we could have squeezed out two or three more scary Megan movies before
Yeah.
going in the funnier direction, which I get they wanted to capitalize on Megan becoming kind of a meme, kind of a social media icon, but I don't know. I enjoyed the movie, and it's a shame that it's not doing so well. But I mean that's just that's just part of how things go sometimes, and especially I don't know why they tried to make it a summer blockbuster.
Right. That's weird.
That like the summer real estate for movies, it's already crowded. Like you got two big superhero movies coming out that have come out this summer. Yeah, and like Mission Impossible come out around the same time as Megan. Like you're going against like some really really heavy hitters, and you just gotta like pick your battles. And I mean that's part of why the first Megan did so well. It came out in January. Like January is like a dead zone for movies. Like there's not a lot out, so whatever's out, you're gonna go see whether you want to or not. Um, with summer, there's so many options, so many really big budgeted movies that have like a lot of marketing power and a lot of star power behind them. That it's already an uphill battle, so why make it harder? I don't know. I wanted it to succeed. I saw it in theaters and I enjoyed it, but that's just how it goes sometimes. Um, but I'll try to pick up the Blu-ray in September. I do love me some Blu-rays, and I know it's not nearly as viable uh, money-wise as it was back in the day, but
Oh,
whatever.
did you see the exclusive features that they put in for the Blu-ray or something?
I thought I saw some of that. What were they again?
Yeah, so like they're actually putting like bloodier kills for the unrated version. Um, and then they're doing a making of, and then they're also doing a behind the scenes on making the puppets and animatronics.
Okay, that's cool. Because
Yeah.
I remember when the first Megan came out, it was PG-13, and people complained like, "Why isn't it rated R? Why isn't it bloodier?" And then on the Blu-ray, they released like a bloodier version, which was just like extended kills with more
Oh yeah.
blood effects, which was fine. So I had a feeling they were doing that, but I love behind the scenes stuff where they show like how they made the movie and
Yeah,
like
me
like
too.
the especially with animatronics and all that. I think that's so cool how people can make that. Um, Man, that's been one thing actually on my 2025 like goals is to watch more behind the scenes stuff on Blu-rays because I have like God knows how many Blu-rays. And there's some where I'm like, I haven't even looked at the behind the scenes on this one. I should just do that. I watch the movie and then just watch all the behind the scenes stuff. But yeah, that's definitely a compelling argument to get the Blu-ray. And hey, like, physical media, always guys, don't trust streaming services because you'll want to watch your favorite movie and then they'll get rid of it because they hate you. Um, okay. Speaking also of like movies that may or may not be failures, Weapons, my third most anticipated movie of the year. I know I keep saying I'm just excited. I'm excited for the rest of 2025. But Weapons, by the way, just because the marketing has been so ambiguous, how much do you know about Weapons as far as like the plot?
Honestly, only from the trailer that I've seen from movies, movie theaters.
No, but that's perfect. That's exactly why I love it.
Yeah.
Because they're not like going too crazy with the spoilery marketing. They're being very ambiguous, which I really like. But they had one of their first critic screenings earlier this week, and it's at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes right now, which I mean, I know that number's not going to be there forever. Obviously, as more screenings come in, as more reviews come in, that's going to filter out. But for it to start at 100% and for them to have that number on there from the beginning, it's a good sign. And a lot of horror critics that I personally trust have given it some praise. So I'm excited for it. And again, I love this marketing. I love minimalist marketing where they just don't tell you anything. More of that, please. Like I feel like we kind of started going back to that with movies like Long Legs.
Oh yeah.
Like when Long Legs was coming out, the marketing for that was super like low key and ambiguous and mysterious. And I think ever since then we've been seeing kind of a resurgence of weird marketing for horror films, which I'm all here for. Because like half the time I avoid trailers. I mean I started watching trailers today to prep for this episode, but usually I try to avoid trailers unless I'm at the movies. But because they're just so spoilery these days, they're so spoilery. But one kind of thing that has interested me about weapons is, and now this is only through the grapevine. I have no proof of this. I have never seen it. But I hear through like the grapevine and just Twitter that there was a leaked script at one point that was floating around online. That
Leaks.
Yeah, like someone like a previous draft of the script. Maybe not the one they used to shoot weapons, but at some point this was an official script for the movie. Allegedly. Allegedly. But I haven't seen anything of it. I've only heard in passing from people who have supposedly read the script that the script wasn't great.
Oh shit.
Which makes me think that it's not the script they ended up using because I've been hearing amazing reviews for weapons. I mean, we see it's 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. A lot of the critics I've seen praising it, I tend to trust their word and I tend to agree with them. Um, but that makes me even more curious about the script. Now I'm like really like now like after I see the movie next month, I need to like get my hands on a copy of that script. Maybe we'll do a whole episode where we read it or something. I don't know.
That'd be fun.
That would be fun. Oh, that'd be a good Patreon exclusive if we end up doing Patreon. Oh, okay. Yes. Here's my next thing. Got my notes all jumbled up here. I can't read. Sorry about that. Okay. Next thing. Hellraiser. You hear about this, Ari?
I'm not.
The new Hellraiser game?
Mm-mm.
Dude, I'm hyped.
Same.
Yeah, new Hellraiser game from who is it that's developing it? I can't remember who it is developing it right now. I'm gonna look that up and I'll put it in here when I have it. But it looks good. I saw the trailer today. And for once, not for once, but like we're getting a single player story driven horror IP game, which like we've been dealing with a lot of the asymmetrical, multiplayer Dead by Daylight sort of clones, which isn't bad. Me personally, I think the hate for that format of games is a little bit excessive. I personally have tended to like them. Like I loved the Friday the 13th game back when that came out, um, which is now shut down, which really sucks. But the Friday the 13th game was fun. That was asymmetrical multiplayer horror. I mean, I love Dead by Daylight, which is asymmetrical multiplayer horror, and I it has its issues, but I really enjoy the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game, which is also asymmetrical multiplayer team versus team stuff. But with a property like Hellraiser, I'm really, really interested in seeing how they do a single player story mode for it. Because like that original movie, you've seen Hellraiser, right?
Yeah, I have. I
Okay,
loved it.
thank God. I was it'd be really funny if I've been nerding out about Hellraiser. You haven't seen it. That would that would have been um but no, like just out of all the horror IPs to give a single player game to, I think Hellraiser is one of the most interesting. Um, yeah, it's from Saber Interactive, who've had some bangers throughout the past. So I feel like it's in good hands. The trailer looks cool. It looks very much like the original movies. Very violent, very suggestive, very sexual, which is exactly how all the movies are. So I'm right there with it. And Doug Bradley is reprising his role as Pinhead to voice him in the game, which is like a huge selling point for this one. Um, I think that's really all we know about it so far. I mean, we have like a basic story, I think. From what I gather, this guy's girlfriend, like they're like messing with the box, and she gets sent to like some hellish abyss, and he has to go find her through like hell, which
It's fucking fun.
I know I fucking love that premise. It makes me. I need to watch the other Hellraiser movies. I've only seen the original.
Me too.
I okay, thank God. Everyone says Hellraiser 2 is like really good, but the rest are total shit. I don't. I wouldn't know, but the original is amazing. The original is amazing.
You're
But
right.
I need to sit down and watch the other Hellraiser movies, man. Get prepped for the game, and I think it's coming out. Yeah, this article from Game Rant says it's closer than you think, which yeah. I mean, I feel like based on reading this article, it's it might come out this year. They said it's closer than you think, and they'll have more information later in the year. So hopefully, late 2025, early 2026, we'll be playing the Hellraiser video game. God, I'm so stoked for it. And I'm curious if this will like set up, or if this will set a precedent for more single player story driven horror IP like
Um,
games. I don't know. What do you think?
I really hope so because I only play like single player games. I really like those.
See, I'm like the opposite. I play a lot of multiplayer games. I need to get into more single player games because they're so fun. I just never like sit down and like by myself and play them, which I need to. And also with horror games, especially. Like as much as I love horror movies, I am a total bitch when it comes to horror games. I'm awful at it. Like when I play Outlast, I'm horrified. That game scares the hell out of me. But no, when it comes to single player horror games, I am way more terrified than with horror movies. Um, but it should be fun nonetheless. I'm super excited for it. Okay. Oh, one more thing I wanted to add to that. What if you're in charge of this, right? What horror franchise would you do a single player game for?
Um, Terrifier. Absolutely.
I dig that. I really like that actually.
Yeah.
Would it be like a prequel, or would it be like would it be like based on the movies, or would it be like what would be the story for that?
Since like Art the Clown is mostly just like, around, I feel like it could be set like at any time. And then
Yeah.
yeah, just like an encounter with him. Let's say you're like out late at night. Maybe it could be like a first movie type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you encounter him and then you have to like find a way to escape or something. That would be so fun.
Oh, now I want that. Damn it. For me, I'd probably go with. Oh, okay, it's not a single player story driven game, but now I just got a really funny idea and I want to say it. I would love to get a fighting game based on Willy's Wonderland,
Yeah.
where you can play as the different animatronics for Nicolas Cage and just do like Mortal Kombat style finishers. So now I want that. But if I'm doing story driven horror games, either The Shining, which I feel like would be really, really cool, or One of the Strangers movies, probably. One of the Strangers movies. I feel like that home invasion element would be really cool for like a story game or a single player mode. You don't have friends to comfort you. All right. So the next topic, this is the big one. This is the one that was like requested the most online for us to talk about. Um, it's I mean it's the elephant in horror, the horror community right now. It's Friday the 13th. Then the we've had a lot of news this past month regarding Friday the 13th. Some good, some questionable, but it's a lot. And on one hand, I'm happy it's a lot. I'm happy that we're getting stuff. I'm happy that we're hearing about it. I'm happy there's communication. But on the other hand, I'm like, what's going on up there? So for context, we have the A24 Camp Crystal Lake prequel series coming out. No idea when it's coming out. Its current production's been underway. They finished casting a long while back, and they've been shooting it in New Jersey, I believe, which accurate to the original movies. Cool. I'm excited for that. Don't get me wrong. I am very, very excited for this prequel series. Um, Now, what I'm questioning is like this Jason Universe company, right? I, what are they doing? I don't know because it's like for a while it seemed like they were doing everything but making a new movie
Right.
because they came in and they're like, we're gonna handle all the Friday the 13th content, and that was my first red flag when they said content. That was the first like small red flag, but it was still like, oh, okay, I can kind of tell where this is going. And we only recently, like just a few days ago, got word that Jason Universe, the team behind Jason Universe, is working on a new game, which cool. I like that. I wonder if it'll be single player or if it'll be like more of a remake of the multiplayer version. I don't know. Either way, I'm excited for it. And they said we're getting a new movie, um, which it's been I think 16 years
Yeah, it has been.
since the last Friday the 13th movie. And what's funny is they ended it. The last Friday the 13th movie was the 12th movie in the franchise. So if we get a new Friday the 13th, it'll be the 13th Friday the 13th movie. So like the stage is set for something really cool if they do something really cool. Because my biggest concern is, they've been waiting for months and months to announce, for years even. They've been waiting for this core battle to be over. Then it's over, and then they start establishing Jason Universe, get all the fans riled up. And instead of outright saying we're making a movie, it seemed like they were kind of doing everything but that. That they're like, let's see how many things we can put Jason on. Like let's give him an action figure, let's give him a new design, a new piece of concept art. Let's make merchandise. Let's set up video game collaborations. I put out a tweet that said like we're closer to Jason Voorhees being in Fortnite than we are getting a Friday the 13th movie, a new one. Like that's where it feels like it's heading. It feels like we're just going in the direction of like just whatever kind of collaborations, whatever will pay, instead of just making the movie. Because I remember you had told me about that article from 1428 Elm. Shout out to 1428 Elm, by the way. Great people over at 1428 Elm. I write for them sometimes, but I'm not biased. But yeah, you had read an article about everything that's been going down at Comic Con, and like what's going on up there?
So, see, now this was a bold statement by them. So, it's going to be sponsored by Angry Orchard, but they want it to be the centerpiece of the 45th anniversary campaign. A center.
Yeah, yeah. So because that's not the movie they were talking about. They had announced this a while back. They had said, "Oh, we're like 2 days ago." They said we're doing a new movie, but like 2 weeks ago, 5 weeks, however long, it was a while back. They said something like, "Oh, we're developing a new project. And we're like, oh, is it a movie? And it was kind of a movie. It was a short film called. It was a Friday the 13th short film directed by Mike Nelson, who is a great director. I have a lot of admiration for his work. I like his work. So I'm like, oh, okay, Mike Nelson doing a short film. Yeah, a short film. Would rather have a feature, but okay, fine. A short film could be fun. Whatever. And then I keep finding out it's for Angry Orchard, right?
Yes.
So we're getting a Friday the 13th, not a movie. We're getting a Friday the 13th short film from a great director, by the way. Like if this wasn't for a commercial, this would be super. I'd be pretty stoked about this. But they go through all this trouble to you know design a new Jason, give him a new mask, get a good horror director, get some actors, go out and shoot some stuff, and they make a commercial basically.
Yes.
Like when I heard about it, I felt kind of like Ralphie from A Christmas Story. When I was like, oh, that's it, a crummy commercial? Like that's it? That's the like you said, that's the centerpiece.
Yes. Isn't that crazy?
The 25-year anniversary, 25 years, it's been 16 years since we've had a movie. 25-year anniversary, a commercial for a beer. I don't know. It feels like they're making Jason more of a mascot than a movie character. I don't know. And look, I watched the Sweet Revenge trailer today. It was good. It was fine. It was well made. But I can't shake this like feeling about it because like how it's basically a commercial, and you watch it and it feels kind of like a fan film, and then you remember it's for a commercial. It's like the Friday the 13th version of that really funny like Batman insurance commercial that,
Yeah.
that played during the Super Bowl. Like, yeah, that was funny, that was entertaining, that was well made. But that's like if it was Batman's 25-year anniversary or whatever year anniversary, and then we're gonna do something really special for the Batman fans, an insurance commercial. It's I don't know. I don't know. That's my whole thing on it is that like because clearly we've escaped the problems with the lawsuit as far as I'm concerned. As far as I know, right? I mean, did they mention anything about the lawsuit in that article?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so it was like we're pretty much out of the woods legally. They have a new design, which okay, I have some issues with. I think the new design is a little bit basic, whatever. But we have it. We have something that we can work with. Okay, and we're able to film something. We're able to actually put it on film, make a movie out of it. Hire a director, hire a cast, film it. Right? Why not just make a movie?
Exactly.
And maybe I'm way underestimating how complex things are behind the scenes. Maybe the legal battle isn't done. Maybe there's still some obstacles to hurdle over, but I don't know, just outside of looking in, my perspective, I think if you had all the resources and if you made this commercial, could have just started making a movie. And they did say at Comic Con they are making a movie, or they said, I believe the quote was, "We're now in a position to make a movie." That makes me even more curious. I'm like, were you not in a position then? You were in a position to make a commercial. You weren't in a position to make a movie. I don't know. Was there anything else in that article that I was missing from that spiel? But
Honestly, no. I think we covered it all, actually.
okay. I'm worried people are gonna say I sound like a hater. I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm excited. Sweet Revenge comes out next month, which is soon. I didn't know it was happening so soon. Sweet Revenge comes out in like a month, less than a month, I think, maybe closer to like 2.5 weeks. Mike Nelson's a great director. I'm excited for it. Jason is a cool character. I'm excited for it. But it's the fact that they kind of jingled the keys in front of Friday the 13th fans for a while. And the Friday the 13th fan base has been so starved because of this legal battle. And so now the floodgates are open. We can do whatever we want. and we're doing like Spirit Halloween masks and beer commercials. I don't know. I've seen a lot of people share kind of a similar sentiment that they think this is all kind of a grift. I'm not going to go that far and say it's a grift. Whether they're doing this intentionally or if they're doing the best they can with what they have, either way, I'm not going to say it's one or the other. I'm not going to say that they're intentionally scamming people and pumping and dumping this franchise until there's nothing left and then hitting the road. They could be just very passionate. They could be a very small team of passionate people trying to do what they can to bring Jason back into the mainstream. Not that I think they need much help doing that. I think Jason is still very much iconic. And if you just announce a Friday the 13th movie and you have a decent horror director and a good cast, well, voila, you have it. It's I've always thought it's the most simple. It's the most simple recipe to make a Friday the 13th movie. It's very simple, and people will be excited for it. People will be excited for it. You don't have to go crazy. Jason Goes to Hell, or Jason X, or you don't have to do anything crazy. You can kind of go back to basics with it. Even like some fan films have started off by going back to basics and then you know expanding it into a whole franchise. Like Vincent, who I had for an interview a long while back. He runs Womp Stomp Films, who is known for Friday the 13th fan films. You know, hire that guy. He knows what he's doing. He knows, you know, he or Mike Nelson, either one of them could make a great Friday the 13th movie if you let them make a Friday the 13th movie. Not a beer commercial, not, whatever. It just, I don't know. I don't feel confident we're going to get this movie. Right now, I don't feel that confident because they say we're in a position to make a movie. Well, are you making it? Do you have a script? Do you even have a writer? Do you have anything going on behind the scenes to push that forward, or are you just saying legally you can? I don't know. It just seemed like am I being too much of a hater here, Ari?
No, I totally agree with you.
Okay, because I don't want to be mean to the Jason Universe people because they're delivering some cool stuff. Like the mask that they showed at Comic Con, I was a little underwhelmed by. I was like, oh, it looks like a Spirit Halloween mask, and then I saw the Spirit Halloween mask. I was like, oh, that looks better. So maybe it'll look better whenever the mask in Sweet Revenge looked fine. It looked good. It's a hockey mask. They did it all right. I just feel like they're overcomplicating it, and you know, fans just want a new movie.
Exactly.
That's all we need. That's all it is. It's very simple. Yeah, I've always said in a perfect world we would have a new Friday the 13th movie once a year or once or twice, like once every 2 years, like consistently coming out because they're probably cheap as hell to make and people like them. Um, and I got asked a very interesting question on the official Talking Terror Instagram, which by the way you should be following. Go follow the Talking Terror podcast on Instagram. It's literally just Talking Terror podcast. But I asked our audience. I said, what's something you want us to cover on this July breakdown episode and talking about all the news from July of 2025. And we got asked by Pink Fang Pictures. Hello, Pink Fang Pictures. Shout out to them. We got asked by them. A new Friday the 13th film is in development. What's that like in a post Terrifier world? And I really like that question. What's it like in a post Terrifier world? What do you think, Ari?
Yeah, because like I think with Terrifier and stuff, with how bloody the kills were and how amazing the what do you call it, the effects were,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of horror movies nowadays have a lot to live up to.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it definitely sets up like a new standard, a new bar. Like the bar has been raised by Terrifier, I think. At least in the terms of what you said, like the kills, the effects, the fandom, the
Yeah.
Terrifier fandom. That's big. Lots of Terrifier fans. A lot more Terrifier fans than when it first started.
Yeah.
If they were Terrifier 2, it grew big, and then with Terrifier 3, it grew even bigger. You know, and there's still a huge amount of Jason fans, but I do wonder if they'll be able to reach that. Because I do think a Friday the 13th movie, if they announce a true through and through Friday the 13th film with Jason Voorhees killing, teens at Camp Crystal Lake, whether he's a zombie, a human, a ghost, whatever they do.
Yeah.
If you have Jason at Camp Crystal Lake killing rambunctious teens in really graphic ways, people will be into it.
I
And
think so.
people will show up. And I think Terrifier proves that. I think in a post Terrifier world, because like Terrifier 3 became, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it became the highest grossing unrated horror film to ever release in theaters.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, I think it beat out Saw, which was originally unrated when it on its theatrical release. Um, so that set that standard. That showed audiences, or that showed studios. Hey, even something as what you think is untouchable as unrated, like super intense violence, people will show up and give you the money to watch it. And I think that's super important to remember going forward with Friday the 13th. If we do get a new Friday the 13th film in theaters, it will make money. I, I 100% believe that. Because like you have the fans of the original, you have new age horror fans who want to see Jason on screen,
Yeah.
who maybe have never seen a Friday the 13th movie in theaters before and want to be part of that new generation movement. Because Art the Clown, he's kind of become like one of the first horror icons of this era. Because a lot of horror, a lot of slashers are kind of one and done, or they're not slashers. They're like metaphorical elevated horror or whatever. And Art the Clown has kind of become this generation's like Freddy Krueger or Jason Voorhees. Like that's the guy that's always got he's got a movie coming out and he's scary and he'll kill people very violently. It's cool. And I do think a Friday the 13th movie could get on that level. There's a lot of other factors there, but I think just as is a Friday the 13th movie in theaters with all the blood and galore you could want, I think it would make bank. And yeah, it's very interesting that they asked about it being in a post Terrifier world because I was like, yeah, that makes a lot. Like Terrifier did raise that bar
We did.
for horror fans. Um, like, do you think a Friday the 13th movie unrated would make Terrifier money?
Hell yeah.
You think it would beat Terrifier?
Maybe. Because, like, even if people, because the thing with Terrifier 3, right? So,
Yeah.
like, I wasn't even planning to watch it, but it was the fact that the audiences that were new to horror were, like, so shocked by it that I actually went and saw it.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, the shock factor was definitely a fun part of it. I loved that marketing, and I don't think we're gonna get that sort of marketing with Friday the 13th. Maybe we would. I don't know because Friday the 13th. That's an older franchise, and it being rebooted. Because you always have people who say, "Oh, I don't go watch reboots. I don't go watch remakes." Which okay, I personally I think you should. I think there's plenty of great remakes and reboots out there. Um, but yeah, there's people who say that, and there's people who, you know, they already know what Jason's about. There's probably gonna be less of that shock value. Because Jason's brutal, but he's not like putting rats in like a tube and shoving it in your face. Brutal, He's
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever done that. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Jason's ever quite gone to that level of violence. But hey, with any director, it could be because there's been talk. Some people say that Damien Leone wants to make a Friday the 13th movie.
Ooh.
I would love to see him take the reins. I'd love to see Vincent from Womp Stomp Films take the reins. I'd love to see Ty West do it because Ty West, he knows how to make a fun slasher movie. Um, Especially after like Maxine with all that kind of '80s Americana glamorous, you know, contrasting with the slasher. I think that was a cool, visual element that he put in, and I think that'd be kind of cool for Friday the 13th. Or they can go with someone totally unknown who just wants to come in, slash up some teenagers, and bring Jason back to the big screen. I'm game for it. I want a new Friday the 13th movie, um, and I hope we do get it. I don't want to sound pessimistic, with this whole Jason universe stuff, but it looks, again, outsider looking in, it looks a little suspicious. It looks a little weird when you put in all the effort and time to make a beer commercial and then
Yeah.
say, oh, but now we can make a movie. Now we can make a feature film. You were already making something. Just do that. And again, I think it's a little silly that the centerpiece of the 25th anniversary. I almost hit my microphone. Oh my god! But no, like the centerpiece of the 25th anniversary is
40.
it's a beer commercial. All right. Um, but all that said, though, I am very, very excited for A24's series because again, that was announced before Jason Universe even had control over the franchise. That was like in the works before they even were a factor in anything. So like A24 already had things, moving. I think they still do have things moving. I kind of only trust them at this point because they're the ones who are like, yeah, we're actually making something. Here's the casting. Here's the showrunner. Here's all this. Even though I am still a little bit bummed that the original original developer, I believe it was Brian. I'm Brian Fuller. That's his name. Brian Fuller. Terrible of names. But Brian Fuller was originally the showrunner for the Friday the 13th series. He did like Hannibal and stuff, and he quit, I believe, over creative differences. And they have a new showrunner in now, who I'm sure is doing a great job. But some of the stuff I heard about Brian Fuller's vision for the Crystal Lake series was just too damn cool. I'm kind of upset we're losing it. Hopefully, we're not losing it all the way. Hopefully, he still has some influence because there was one thing that came out about his vision for the series, and it was how one episode was just like an hour long chase sequence through
Both.
Camp Crystal Lake. And I'm like, shit, that's so cool. Now I'm mad that he's not involved. So hopefully they keep the hour long chase sequence episode because that's just funny. A whole episode about being like running from the killer in a slasher movie. That's just a cool way to do television, man. I don't know, but anyway, was there anything else you wanted to add about Friday the 13th? I don't want to yap too much.
I liked it actually.
You're good.
Yeah.
Man, I'm I don't want to be mean to Jason Universe. I'm nervous is all. But again, I trust Mike Nelson. And speaking of Mike Nelson, this is a bit of a smaller news piece. We got the Silent Night, Deadly Night reboot coming out from director Mike Nelson. For those of you unaware, Mike Nelson, he's directed a few things. I mostly know him from VHS. He did a really cool VHS segment on, I believe, VHS 99. No, it was VHS 85. That's right. Not 99. He did a segment for VHS 85 that I really enjoyed. And he also did the Wrong Turn reboot and this movie called The Domestics and Summer School. I've never seen Summer School or The Domestics, but VHS 85 is fantastic. His segment on that is wonderful. Um, so he's directing the Sweet Revenge short film, and he's directing a remake of Silent Night, Deadly Night. So he's booked and busy, and I'm happy about it because I admire his work. Um, and have you ever seen any of the Silent Night, Deadly Night movies?
Mm-mm. I've heard a lot about them though.
they're interesting. The first one is kind of cool. The rest are a little they get dumber and dumber. I watched all of them last Christmas. I spent like a week. I spent all December. Like each week, I would watch a new Silent Night, Deadly Night movie, and now we're getting a remake from it with Roman Campbell starring as Billy. Roman Campbell, he was in Halloween Ends. He was kind of like the new Michael Myers, like the babysitter. And he was also in The Monkey earlier this year. He was the guy with like, all the hair in his face. He gets killed by wasps or bees or whatever, and it was a very horrifying scene. But he's a good actor. I like him. There's not much in the way of news on that right now. They released like a teaser image and a small little like teaser like 20-second trailer like teaser trailer thing. But I do know, I think I know. Let me double check. But I believe it's from the same company that did some of Terrifier 3 and Toxic Avenger. Yes. Okay, here we go. Cineverse will be handling North American distribution, which I believe Cineverse is partnered with Bloody Disgusting. Are they like sister companies? Um, Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Yeah, Cineverse is their parent company, I believe. Okay, so which is pretty cool. I mean, Cineverse they did the distribution for Terrifier 3, got that on even more screens than Terrifier 2 for even longer, and partly responsible for that insane number that they set last year. And they did they're doing Toxic Avenger, which I mean I'm so glad they're distributing that movie because that movie was like kind of sitting on a shelf for a while. It premiered at Fantastic Fest 2023,
Whoa.
and it's just getting released next month, August 2025. So it was on the shelf for a while, which it was so weird having seen that movie at Fantastic Fest and then it never came out. And now it's coming out finally, so I could say, no, it's really good. It's great. I wrote a whole review on it, and I'm happy to say that's really good. And Cineverse has great taste in movies they distribute. But yeah, I'm excited for Silent Night, Deadly Night. I'm excited for the remake. I love a good Christmas horror movie. And just again, just based on distribution from Cineverse, I keep thinking about Terrifier 3 and Toxic Avenger and how violent they are, and so I'm confident we're gonna get some good on-screen violence with a for a slasher movie. Um, so I hear this new VHS movie coming out on the horizon.
Like, yes.
What's going on with that?
So like it's going to be Halloween themed and it's coming out on October 3rd.
I knew about the Halloween theme. I didn't know. I forgot it was coming out October 3rd. That's soon.
Heck yeah, that's the
Soon.
day after my birthday.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, happy birthday from the
Thank
VHS
you.
podcast. VHS is giving you the coolest birthday gift ever. It's a new movie. No, yeah.
I,
When I saw the title was just VHS Halloween,
oh
I
yeah.
was I was like, oh, that's so fucking cool. That's so cool. Because VHS kind of went through a reboot. I mean, it's not linear. It's all anthology, so you can do whatever you want with it. But they had VHS, VHS2, and VHS Viral. Then they stopped making them for a while. Then they went over to um, Shutter and Josh Goldblum and that whole team. And now it's like they had like VHS 94, VHS 99, VHS 85, VHS Beyond. Like they started going by different years, which I thought was super cool. I thought that was a super cool way to tie all the stories together. They all take place the same year, and 85 is super like 80s technology, and 99 is like Y2K and late 90s shit, which I thought was super fun. And then VHS Beyond was all sci-fi. There's no year constraint. It's like just whatever you want, but sci-fi, which I loved. I loved VHS Beyond. And now they're moving on to holidays. So VHS Halloween, which is so fucking cool. It makes me because I'm not too familiar with the directors in this
Oh,
one.
no. Um, well, I do know that Paco Plaza is going to be in it, and they directed the original Wreck.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
excited.
okay, dude, hell yeah. I still haven't seen Wreck, but I've heard good things, so I'm counting that as a win.
Gotta watch it.
I know. Oh yeah, you recommended it to me on the last episode. Yeah, dude, you added so many movies to my watch list last episode.
Oh yeah.
Like while I was editing, I was like listening to it, and I was like, oh, something I gotta. I kept adding to the watch list. And I was told by people that because of the show, they watched Spree, so that made me feel really happy. We love Spree in this house. But yeah, dude, VHS Halloween. I love that because I love the retro Halloween style. You know, like there's that one movie, WNUF Halloween Special, which is all like a town Halloween broadcast on like an old VHS.
Ooh,
That's like the whole thing. Late Night with the Devil was a recording of a talk show on Halloween night, which I love. I love Late Night with the Devil. Um, and yeah, I just love the old school Halloween style. So the fact that we're gonna have a whole VHS movie on that, I'm super stoked for.
it's
And it makes me wonder when we're gonna get VHS Christmas. And if we do, can I please direct a segment for it? Whoever, Josh Goldblum, Shutter, whoever's listening, if I can direct a VHS Christmas special, dream come true. Anyway, yeah, I love VHS. What else was in the article for that? 'Cause I want to make sure I'm not missing anything.
um honestly it's mostly like the list of directors and stuff.
Yeah. I'll check that out. I'll have to check out the full list. But it's cool that we're getting someone from the director of Wreck.
I know, right?
Like I haven't even seen Wreck, and now I'm hyped because I hear so much praise for that film. And I mean, these last few VHS movies, they've been knocking it out of the park with the directors. They had Scott Derrickson do a segment for VHS 85. You had Mike Nelson do a segment for VHS 85. You had Kate Siegel do a segment for VHS Beyond, which was super cool. Um, but I just interviewed two directors from VHS Beyond on a previous episode, so y'all can check that out. Shameless plug, I know. But no, I love the VHS franchise. And the fact that I was almost worried. I hadn't really heard anything about a new VHS, and then that announcement came. I was like, yes, we're back, and hopefully it premieres at Fantastic Fest, so I'll get to see it early, which will be really fun. Um, so yeah, with that done, with my VHS nerding out done, I'm gonna continue to nerd out with this was like this news. It like energized me for an entire day.
Yeah.
Like when I heard this news, I was awake, at it, productive all day, no Adderall needed. Uh, it was the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 trailer. We finally got a new trailer for it. Finally. Oh my god. After months of people bugging Jason Blum on Twitter, which can I just say I'm not one of. Let the man work. He's busy, but I also understand. We finally have a new Five Nights at Freddy's 2 trailer, and it looks so damn good.
Because oh my gosh.
It looks awesome, dude. Like so you've got a chance to watch the trailer, right?
Yes, I got like literal goosebumps from it. It's so good.
It's so good. Oh my god. So we have like the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 location, which is now like the original location, which is super cool. We get the toy animatronics, which I love how the toy animatronics are like full on like slasher villains in this. Like they're like leaving the pizzeria and going out looking for people to kill. And I'm like, what? This is so cool. Like, what the hell? This is cool. And we have the Withered animatronics, which I mean, those who know me know how much I love the games, especially the second Final Fantasy game, which this adaptation is based on. And the designs from that game are so good, and they are so well adapted in this. Like that picture, like that like withered Chica, where she has like her jaw all ripped up and like the arm is missing. that was such a cool design of the game, and it's like a 1-to-1 replica in the new movie.
Yeah.
You have Mangle, who looks fucking terrifying. You have the puppet, which looks horrifying. Like there's that shot where like Vanessa's like looking down and you see like the puppet's like fingers above the roof. I'm like, that's so creepy, man. That's so fucking creepy. But I'm here for it, dude. I like how it's taking a darker tone. You know, that was a big criticism with the first one. I didn't mind the more lighthearted tone. I understand why they did it, but I'm so down with them going in a darker direction for this one.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I don't want to take up the whole thing we yapping about. I want to know your thoughts on it as well.
My thoughts? Yeah, because
Yeah.
I'm really glad that they're doing the darker tone as well. Because the first one, I actually did not like the lighthearted tone at all.
Oh, really?
Yes, because I was just like, okay, well, the kids know about FNAF, but like they didn't really grow up on it like we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, with like Matt Cat and stuff.
I don't want to gatekeep, but yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah,
You weren't in the trenches solving these theories with Matt Pat, like
exactly.
like we were. You weren't wondering who Golden Freddy was, like we were, man. This was a mystery.
Right?
This was the Da Vinci Code for us, bro. This was like intense shit.
Exactly.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, the lighthearted tone. I understand why they did it, and part of me doesn't mind it because it felt more like a feature length episode of Goosebumps at times. I was like, oh, we could be going a little bit harder with this, but okay, whatever. And yeah, it sucked. It didn't suck, but I was a little let down at first. But then I was like, okay, I'm into it. I still love the movie. I'm still just like happy we even have a Final Phrase movie because, dude, the movie, a FNAF movie got announced after the second game came out. So I was like 14 when that when it was announced. And it went through development hell. It switched studios from Warner Brothers to Blumhouse. Took a long time to develop, and then in October 2023, we finally got it. After an announcement all the way back in 2014, 2015 maybe, I don't know. Like we finally got it. So I was like, whatever. We have the movie. Even though it was a little bit more on the kid friendly side than I would have preferred, we still got it. But now this one seems to be going way, way darker,
Yeah, I love it.
like tonally, visually, which I remember that was kind of a thing they had talked about in interviews. They said, like, oh yeah, we heard some criticisms that it was a little too lighthearted, so we're gonna try to go a little darker. And I'm like,
Thank you.
thank God. And Matthew Lillard is returning as William Afton, the series antagonist, and Skeet Ulrich got confirmed for the cast at
Oh,
Comic
nice.
Con. They had been speculating that he was going to be playing someone for a while, and we got the official confirmation at Comic Con. We got confirmation that he's in the movie. We didn't get confirmation on who he's playing. He didn't say who he's playing. There's been a lot of speculation online that he's playing like Henry Emily from the games or something, like the other person who helped build the Freddy Fazbear Empire. um, but we don't know. Nothing's confirmed, but that's been a popular fan theory. Anyway, I'm so hyped for it. Again, my most anticipated movie of the year, and the effects look so cool. I'm glad they're sticking with practical effects for the most part because the first movie had a lot of practical effects, which I really liked, and this one also seems to have a lot of practical effects. So I'm all in on that. Any more thoughts on the trailer?
Not really.
That was the peak of me nerding out for this episode.
I love it.
Oh, don't worry. And then one of the last things, I want to make sure we got everything. One of the last things talking about is Has Been Hotel. Uh,
Yes.
yes, I'm gonna let Ari nerd out on this one because Ari, I like Has Been Hotel. Ari loves Has Been Hotel, so I'm gonna let her take the reins here.
Okay, so like it is going to be coming out season 2, October 29th, which is amazing because like I didn't think that we were going to get it so soon. A lot of people speculated that it was going to come out next year, but like I'm so
And
glad that we got it this year.
Yeah, I was definitely speculating that. I was one of those people who was like, oh, we're not gonna get it until 2026.
Yeah, right. And like as someone that is a huge fan of the bees, particularly Box, like Jacob,
Yeah.
um,
The Bees were cool. I'm excited to see them be. I think they're gonna be the main antagonist this season.
yes they are. I'm so
Oh, I'm hyped for
excited.
that.
Oh my gosh.
And like, I love the voice cast they have.
Me too. Actually, did you saw the merchandise, right? Are you planning on buying any?
I don't know. I know you're getting some merch, and I'll have to see what that Vox Tech watch looks like.
I'm so excited for that. But like there was actually well, some fans complaining because they're doing exclusive merch for the box package, right?
Hmm.
Like the Valentino package, which is like 106, they're doing exclusive cards for that one as well. And they're just like, what the fuck? We have to buy both packages just to get all of the merchandise.
Yeah, I mean, also like their cards. So I mean, I kind of get the exclusivity, but I kind of get that frustration. But also, animation's expensive, dude.
It's true.
Even when you're partnered with A24 and Amazon Prime, it's expensive. Gotta pay the bills. Um, no, I'm hyped for it. So season 2 comes out October 9th,
29.
29th. Okay. God, that is soon. We're getting all these movies so soon, and they feel like light years away. And funny because like Hazbin Hotel came out like January 2024,
Oh,
I think, and I was like, it's gonna be a while before we get another one because the animation is smooth. The animation's really good. That's like a strong point in season 1 for me was the animation and the music. The music's fantastic.
right?
Um, yeah, no, it's great, and I'm excited to see more of. I hope they touch on more of like the heaven stuff,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I do wonder if they're gonna bring back Adam, who's played by I can't remember the voice actor's name right now.
Alex Brightman.
Yes, he's great.
He is.
He played Jack Black's character in the School of Rock musical, I think, as well. Because I've heard some of the covers from that album, and he's a good singer. But no, I want Alex Brightman back as Adam. He was great as Adam. I know he's spoilers for season 1 of Hazbin Hotel. I know he's technically dead, but I don't care. He's an angel. You can bring him back.
Right?
Vivian can do some writing magic to make him come back. I don't care. Um, I'm excited for it, though. I'm excited that the V's are going to be the main villains because that was one of my complaints of season 1 is that they didn't use the V's enough. I thought like they had some really interesting characters, and the one that got the most attention was Valentino because of like the Angel Dust storyline.
Oh yeah.
Um, I wanted to see more of Vox. I like Vox. I think it's fucking cool.
Me too.
Like the TV head. Like it was just like he was just some like some corporate asshole. I love that. I like Hazbin Hotel. I'm excited for season 2, and yeah, I want to get Viv on the podcast so I could pick her brain about Hazbin Hotel and how she keeps getting the best singers ever to voice in her shows, and also so I can be friends with Brandon Rogers. That's another bonus that would come with. But
I love Brandon Rogers.
yeah, me too. I want to put him in like a really fucking weird horror movie. I think he'd excel at that. Hey, put him in some like really freaky shit.
It sounds like a threat.
No, I mean that in a good way. Like, he'd be great. It'd be like Jim Carrey and like the Cable Guy. I thought, this is weird, but I'm here for it. Um, I think that's it though for like the big heavy hitters of July. Was there any more Hazbin Hotel stuff you wanted to?
Mm, I don't think so. Actually, have you seen like wait, there's this news earlier this year that this person they leaked the entire season 2 like storyboards and stuff.
Did they really?
Yeah, you never saw it? That's good. That's good.
No. How the how do you leak an entire storyboard for the whole series?
There's actually this long running joke that they're just like, is Vivian's password just like Alistair123?
How how do you hack? How do you get all the storyboards?
Exactly, but like they did catch the guy and they charged him like $200,000.
Damn.
Yeah.
Don't steal from A24. That's a reminder to me in case I ever try to sneak onto the Crystal Lake set. don't don't try to fuck with A24. They'll run you into the ground. They have a lot of money. But was that everything for the Hasman Hotel
Pretty
news?
much.
Man, that sucks that they got stolen, but it happens. We're still gonna enjoy the series. Like, I haven't been spoiled. I'm not like that deep into like that fandom or that circle, uh, which I guess is a good thing because I guess I would have gotten spoiled.
That's good.
Just like how that weapons script was floating around on Twitter with like people I knew, and I was like, "How the hell did this get here?" But I also I low kind of want. I want to get it and then save it for after I see the movie, so I can compare it. Because I heard the script is like weird, not like in a good way. I've heard it's like not great, but also that's just the opinion of a few people who supposedly read it. Who knows? But yeah, that is going to do it for this episode of Talking Terror. It was a huge month for horror this July. I'm not sure what August has on the horizon for us. Maybe we'll do another monthly breakdown. Maybe we make this like a regular thing. I don't know. I just thought it'd be a fun thing to do at the end of the month because this was a huge month for horror, especially with Comic Con. They really fed us well at Comic Con because there was stuff that we didn't even get to. Like there was like Predator, which I'm not too familiar with the Predator franchise, but they did talk about some of the new Predator stuff coming out, like the new movie and new TV series for that. But that Friday the 13th stuff that was all over my Twitter for like the last few days, and so I had to talk about it. I had to go on my spiel about it. So let us know if you enjoyed this episode by hitting like on this if you're watching on YouTube. You can also subscribe to the YouTube channel. That helps us out a lot. So you can be notified whenever we have new episodes out or whenever I do any other type of videos. If you're listening to this on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, be sure to give us a good rating and to follow us on there so you're up to date on your video on your Talking Terror episodes. Don't want to miss an episode and be out of the loop. You can also, to stay in the loop, follow us on our social media pages. We're really active on our Twitter account. That's at TalkTerrorPod. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. And of course, you can follow our Instagram as well, Talking Terror Podcast. I always post little viewer submitted questions. That's where we got that question about Terrifier and Friday the 13th, which was a fantastic question. Shout out to that viewer for sending that in. That was a great question. But yeah, be sure to follow us on our Instagram to stay up to date on that, and of course on our Twitter account. I'll be linking the links to all those in the description below. And yeah, that should about do it. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.